Live already.
We probably are.
Yeah.
Hello, people on the internet.
Hi.
Greetings from Denmark.
We are here to talk about smart planning for families. So if that's what you're looking for, you're in the right place.
Hey, if you're just looking for having fun with us, then you're also in the right place.
Exactly. Can you let us know who's here? We'd love to get some interaction going, because that is really the purpose of these lives, is to hopefully inform you of something that, you know, we can share with you, but mostly just to learn from each other and have fun.
Yay. So yeah, smart planning for families, that's a thing. I didn't know that, but Ben and Kevin told me that smart goal setting is like a thing.
It is a thing. Yeah. So if you know about smart goal setting, that's kind of what this the idea for this topic was born out of. But we came up with the concept of smart planning for families.
Came up with our own acronym.
Because we're fun and smart.
Cool like that.
What is it? Does it lose some of its purpose if we keep saying that we're fun? Or some of the meaning? Anyways, okay. We'll keep going. No, so smart planning, because if you set goals, I mean, setting goals is good, and we're going to go into that in a little bit. But goal setting without planning is just dreaming. Not that we're hating on dreaming. Dreaming is great, but really, once you've set goals, there's still the work of making sure that you actually, turn those goals into reality. So that's what we're talking about today.
And Ben is super good at all this, like, presentations and acronyms and all these numbers and stuff, and he'll bring that to the table, and I'll bring the fun and make sure that it's not just a boring presentation from his side. So we're gonna go into how we do family, like planning in our families, and how we do that in a smart way.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can be fun too.
Yeah, but not when you talk like presentations. No.
Okay, you'll just call me out on it then if I get too boring.
It's okay. You guys call him out on it. He's like, okay,
well.
dumb it down for me, like he does for me all the time. So here we go. But he is fun. He is fun.
We're off to a great start.
Yeah. Well, okay. So we're using the acronym SMART, and then just kind of taking that and breaking it apart with SMART.
Yeah.
To explain to you how we do our planning.
Yeah.
And how that really helps, because seriously, we've both pretty much planned always. Like as a teenager, I had a calendar around and like brought that everywhere and wrote down all my homework, which was like not very often because back then there wasn't a lot of homework. It came later on when I wasn't a teenager anymore. Sucks. But I wrote all that down, all my fun play dates with my friends and hangouts and all that stuff when I got older. But you probably did some of the same.
Yeah.
I don't know, probably more homework.
Well, a little bit of homework, but
some LAN parties. Whatever he did.
You have to plan those. Yeah, back in the day, my glory days.
But then we got married and we started really planning together, like goal setting and planning. And we found out how awesome that is. Not necessarily the actual planning session, but keeping track of things and keeping all those balls in the air, especially when you start having kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you just get more and more balls all the time.
Family life is busy. So, I mean, this is what kind of keeps us going with a sense of purpose of like, stuff that we're striving for long term as well. Ashley, hey, I'm finally able to be here. We're glad that you are here, Ashley. I always miss the live videos. I'm going to listen to this while I clean. Nice one.
Good job. I like the combining of different tasks.
Yep.
So listen to us, which isn't a task but a joy, and then cleaning. Yeah.
Hey, Olive.
Oh, Olive, you are. We just found Olive's channel after watching this here. You should go check out her channel because we really like it. So check that out afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. But should we dive in?
Yeah.
Okay. So number one, the S stands for set goals or set your sights. And again, we kind of mentioned this, but like if you are, if you're a busy family person like us, I mean, we kind of had this like realization, was it like last year, a couple of years ago, where, we found that we kind of settled into a rut of just like daily life. We were doing all the things you're supposed to do as an adult, as a responsible parent, picking the kids up from school, giving them food, remembering to feed ourselves in the process, going to meetings and all that stuff. But we realized that, we'd lost some of like the sense of purpose that I think is more normal to have when you're younger, and that maybe you want to go to university, get a degree. No, but my point is, setting goals is something that helped us kind of reinstill that sense of purpose. And prevent us, hopefully, and it feels like it's working right now, prevent us from just kind of drifting aimlessly through life. I don't want to look back when I'm 60, 70, 80 and just wonder, what the heck happened?
Yeah, so that's kind of when we settled down and like said, hey, we need to like do something to really set some goals that are moving us in the direction we want to go. So that brings us to kind of our yearly planning. So every year, right before New Year's or right after New Year's, we sit down and we spend take out a chunk of time and we set some goals. So we set goals, set our sights for something. We probably already have we have a 5-year plan and a 10-year plan. But then we kind of set some goals that are going to bring us towards that.
Yeah. So looking at the year ahead, we've got a few categories. So, with regards to our health, professional lives,
family,
finances, spirituality. And then we just go through that, piece by piece and set goals based on, we start by reviewing our goals from last year and then set goals for where we want to be at the end of the upcoming year.
Yeah, and you do some for you, some for me, and then some combined ones.
Combined ones, yeah.
Exactly. Absolutely. And it takes a little bit of time to do this yearly planning. But when we do that, we have something to go towards, and then during the year, we do monthly plannings where we look back on the yearly planning and see how are we doing with this. Like this month, what goals should we have to reach that yearly planning? Yeah,
and that's kind of a red thread that I think will come up again in this video. That all of this is all of our planning down to almost the daily planning is kind of tied back to the long-term goals that we have in one way or another. Not that everything that we plan on a day-to-day basis is like that, but you'll see it pop up again and again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. When we set goals, we also try to set SMART goals. So we alluded to this earlier. SMART goals stand for specific, measurable, attainable, or realistic, which I think is, kind of the same thing. And then time-based. So if you take, for example, health, you can measure health in a lot of ways. You can hopefully not in a lot of whales. Okay.
Yeah.
Back on track.
My goodness. Yeah.
But one very classic example is setting a goal for your weight.
Yeah.
So
which we do every year. And some years we get there and some years we don't.
It's been going really well the last couple of years.
Well, so we set goals for our weight or for we want to be at this weight and halfway through the year and then again in December. And then sometimes that goal can change. So for example, a couple of years ago, I had a goal for the end of the year. I wanted to be a certain weight. And then halfway through the year, realized I was pregnant. So that goal changed. And that's also what we use our monthly planning for, is to go look at the year, hey, is something changing? Is our focus changing? And then my focus changed for losing weight and into gaining weight.
Yeah. But anyways, so if you've just joined us, we're talking about SMART planning for families. It's basically the way that we plan, condensed into a nice little acronym to help you remember, and hopefully apply it in your own life. So S stands for setting goals or setting your sights for where you want to be, what you want to get out of life.
We got a comment here. It's really good. It says, I used to set weight goals. Now I set goals based on why I want to be that number. That is so good. And we kind of do that too. So we want to be we envision why is this important to us? And the reason why it's important to us is that we want to be healthy and be able to play with our grandkids when they come in many, many, many years. But we want to be healthy then. And if we're not healthy now, we're not going to be healthy then either.
Exactly.
So that's the 10-year, 20-year plan down the road. And having that helps us have a reason why we want to reach this goal now.
Yeah.
So that's a really good point. Thanks.
So how do you set goals? If anybody else wants to pitch in, we'd love to hear how does that work for you, and maybe what doesn't work, and then we can move on to M.
Exactly, for SMART planning. Yeah, we're the N and the M, and that is manageable. You want to make sure that your goals are manageable. You don't want to set goals that are just all over the place and you have to set tons of things, and you don't want to plan and make that something that takes you hours and hours and hours, because hey, as a family person, you do not have hours and hours to plan every week or every day.
No, I think a lot of people would probably relate to this experience of setting goals. It's almost like, when you've got a New Year's resolution, you've got something that you're super excited about, and then very quickly you just kind of lose steam.
Yeah.
And then you look back at the end of the year and you're like, oh yeah, I had that goal that, back then. Yeah.
In January.
So making your planning manageable, I think, is a key factor in making it so that it's easy to kind of like, just not spend all of your energy on planning. And so the way that we've done that is now we take the monthly goals, we look at those on a monthly basis, and then we usually look at our week. We've got a weekly planning session where we kind of try to break down our week into pieces that fit into and towards our monthly goal. The way that we do that I think is very very useful to keep in mind is try to automate as much stuff as possible in your weekly planning. So
yeah, I mean, we've done this a lot, but just recently we were like, we're still spending too much time doing our weekly planning, so we automated even more. And now, like, last couple of weeks, it's been like 5 minutes on our weekly planning. Not even kidding you. Yeah. So it's like automating who's picking up the kids what day. So like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll do it or something, and you'll do it Thursday, Friday. And then if there are any changes, then that's what we talk about in our weekly planning. Like, or if not, then just business as usual. Yeah. Or what time is dinner those days? Or what time do we get up? Or what time what time are the kids' extracurricular activities? Yeah, exactly. So we're leaving very little up to chance of the things that we actually, can predict and plan for. And I think that has a few benefits. One of the ones you've already mentioned is that it makes it so that it's really easy to plan ahead for the coming week because most of it's already in there. So you can focus on the things that are kind of, different for that week. And another one is that, because you've got a fixed daily schedule for each day of the week, then, you don't spend a whole lot of energy on kind of thinking, oh, what's going on today, or when are I come home or something and the kids are out and about and we're like, oh, when are we going to eat? I don't know. And then I just don't use time as effectively and I feel more emotionally drained. Another benefit that I've seen from this is that, I want to spend more time with my kids, and this has worked. That's a good thing.
I agree. To help me to set aside more time for them. So I have a date with each of the kids for 1 hour, every week. Yeah. So that's just time that so earlier this evening, I had a 1 hour date with my daughter, Emilia. We went to the playground. We went back home. We played with some drones. We had a cinnamon bun, and then we played some games.
She wanted to do Just Dance, but this guy tried to do everything he could to like, oh, let's play this game instead or this game instead. So they actually didn't get to do Just Dance.
I did not.
Although I've been excited.
No, this is not true. I did not dissuade her from doing Just Dance. She wanted to go to the playground, and she was excited about the cinnamon bun, and she suggested the drone when we came home. I, however, did not remind her that earlier during the day she said she wanted to do Just Dance. So sue me.
Whatever.
Okay.
but hey, what about the dates? Like, it's been a goal of yours to have a weekly date with your kids for a couple of years now, and sometimes it's been going really well, other times not so well. And I think those times haven't been going so well. It's because it was more like this week I have to make sure I have 3 dates, or like, okay, when can I fit in a date this week with each kid, instead of just having it as a weekly time. Like Monday I have with this kid, Wednesday with this kid, Thursday with this kid. Those exact times. Yeah, exactly. And since we've been doing that, it's been going a lot better. Yeah. Having dates every time.
And again, I both feel like I'm using my time more effectively and I'm getting quality time with the kids. I drop my son off at handball and then spend time with Emilia, because that makes sense during those times as well.
Yeah, got another comment. You should read this down.
Last week, I was home from work, feet kicked up, thinking about how I hadn't been so relaxed in so long and how cozy the house was. When I remembered, I forgot to pick up my kids. Total planning fail.
I would be lying if I didn't say I had done that too.
Honestly, we had planned this, and I was supposed to pick up the kids today. I was going home from work when I remembered. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to pick up the kids. So it's taken a little bit of time to just get used to it.
So when I called you on the way home from work and said, "Hey, should I pick them up instead?" because I got off a little bit earlier. That was actually, you're like, oh, yeah, that'd be great.
No,
Have you forgotten that
No, because I texted you beforehand. I said, I'm picking up the kids. But that is when I realized, oh yeah, I'm picking up the kids.
Yeah, okay, that was like 5 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, but still.
Thanks
See,
for
good.
yeah. I mean, we've got each other's backs as well, so that's good.
Oh, Shira's here. Finally got to work. It's okay. You're forgiven, I guess.
Welcome, Shira.
Exactly. But that's a really good point. What actually brings us to the next one, accessible and available. Because having your calendar or your plans available and like ready, like I have them on my phone. Like we use Google Calendar. We have a video about how we use Google Calendar, but we use that religiously. And if I did not have that on my phone, I would do that so many times. Just sit at home thinking, am I missing someone or something? Who cares? I'm enjoying my day.
Super easy putting the kids to bed. Wait.
They're still at school. Because I space things so easily. And I think it's because I'm in mommy brain. Easy excuse. But I just space things really easily. So I look at my calendar like 3, 4, 5 times a day, at least, if not like 20 times more than that, just to see like what's next, and then I forget again. So that's why I need to have it somewhere really close where I'm reminded. Plus, we have reminders on important events, so that I get like a notification pop up. Oh yeah, that this is happening. That's right. I usually remember to pick up the kids, but just
no,
saying.
but I think this is important as well because you can plan very carefully, and if you've it's easier to remember. Saturdays or Sundays or whatever, we've got our weekly planning session, but you might plan super carefully, but it's not of any use if you don't actually refer to it or use it as something that can support you throughout the week and help you keep track of things.
Yeah, like today. Actually yesterday, our oldest son, he's about to like change from his like after school program to another after school program because he's getting so old. And I was supposed to like figure out how to sign him up for that. And it was in my calendar yesterday. I saw it. I did it. I called around. It was the wrong number. I called somewhere else. It was the wrong number. Things weren't working. So I moved it. I didn't have any more time. It was my lunch break. So I moved it to today in my lunch break. And I completely forgot all about it. And I was sitting there correcting some assignments. A teacher, if someone didn't know. And then all of a sudden, like my phone starts vibrating and it says like, oh, remember to call about this. And I'm like, oh yeah, there was that. So if I hadn't gotten that reminder, then I would have completely forgotten about it. And probably would have been signed up and the deadline would have passed and all that stuff. So it's a good thing that I got the reminder. So make it accessible, make it something that you have around all the time. It doesn't have to be digital. If you're not a digital person, then that's okay. You can keep it as a planner, but just carry it with you. Make sure you have it with you at all times.
Or have like a command center. I think that's
yeah. Oh, I love those. So one of my friends, Shani, she has a command center. You walk through the door. It's just like a big calendar and then binders for like school paperwork and other paperwork and bills. Like it's a really great command center. It's like really practical and nice. So it doesn't have to be digital. We're digital people, but other people are not, and you can still have it work just as well.
Yeah. So just make it available, make it accessible for
you.
Yeah.
Do you have anything like what do you do to make it accessible and available? Like, do you have any good tips that we could use or other people could use? Let us know because that'd be nice.
Janet says, I need to set a daily reminder on my phone to pick up my daughter. Okay, I think we can all just agree that this is normal. Yeah. So everybody, give yourself a pat on the back. This is parenthood.
Don't worry about it. Exactly.
All right. So if you've just joined us, we are talking about smart planning for families. We came up with the concept of smart planning to kind of
all on our own. Yeah. No inspiration from anywhere else.
Yeah, to go along with the idea of smart goal planning as a more kind of complete approach to having ideas, working or goals, and working towards those as a busy parent. Yeah. So we've just talked about how you need to make sure that obviously you start by setting goals. You want to make sure that the planning sessions that you have put into place or whatever constructs you have in place to help you plan, that's manageable. It doesn't take a whole lot of effort to maintain it after you've set the goals and some of the initial excitement has worn off. And then it's making it accessible, making it available to you. So it's visible. You've got reminders, you've got notifications. We actually, on that note, we also use the Google Home quite a bit. So it's quite handy to be able to, like, you're running out the door, you're like, hey, you ask Google. I'm not going to say, hey, Google.
No, because
it'll go off. Yeah, but I'll ask, what's on my agenda for today, and
tell you.
Mr. or Mrs. Google will tell us.
Yeah. So that's
very
really nice.
accommodating.
Like I said, we're digital people.
Yeah.
But yeah.
If you've liked what we've talked about so far, please like the live, what is going on so far, and let's move on.
Let's move on to R, because that's the next letter in SMART. And that's regular. So it's no surprise. We've kind of mentioned already, like we do yearly, monthly, weekly planning. It's regular. So we make sure that we do it enough so that we don't have to catch up on a bunch of things. Because if you've well, I was going to do some like school homework thing. That's going to be boring. So I'm not going to say an example. But you know yourself, like if you've planned something or you've read a book and then you like wait a month or two to read again, and then you kind of have to like go back and read some more because there's a bunch of stuff you've forgotten. Same thing with planning. Like if you don't plan like weekly, then you have to like catch up on a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I used to journal. No, I really want to be someone who journals. Let's say that instead. I really want to be someone who journal. And sometimes I get into the groove of it and I journal for a little bit and I'm like, oh, I'm a person who journals. And then I don't for a while. And then whenever I start again, I always feel like, oh, I need to catch up on the whole time that I haven't been journaling and write everything that's happened. And that just doesn't make sense because then it's boring and then I lose steam and then I don't do it again.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. So you try to do it regularly, and obviously we talked about how we do weekly planning on a weekly basis. We also try, when we do our monthly planning, it's a good time to kind of check in and as you mentioned to begin with in this video, kind of make sure that we're still not just on track, but that we're still heading in the direction that we want to be heading in. Mm-hmm. On the monthly and yearly level, sometimes it makes sense to say, hey, we wanted this at some point, but it doesn't really make sense anymore.
Yeah, it's not really what we need anymore.
Yeah.
Like with my lose weight, I don't want to lose weight when I'm pregnant anymore. Like with Lucas. So there you go.
Yep.
That's our youngest, by the way, if you don't know. We have 3 kids. Okay, the next one. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, we're ready to the next one. And that's the last one. Because then we spell out SMART. So the last one is T, and that is together.
Yep.
And I think that makes pretty much sense. Like, we do this together. We don't plan separately. We set separate goals, but we still do this together so that he's aware of my goals and I'm aware of his goals.
Yeah. I think it makes sense because, we are married. We made a promise to each other. We're heading in the same direction. But in order to make sure we're heading in the same direction, we need to make sure we're like in the same car, heading in that direction. Does that make sense? Yeah,
it does. Sorry,
okay.
I was reading a comment. I wasn't listening to you at all.
We have a new comment.
It was too boring when you were saying. I don't know.
Okay, thanks.
Shower just wrote a comment. She said that when she hits a dry spell in journaling, she just makes bullet lists of highlights. That's a good idea.
That is a really good idea.
Maybe I could become a journaler. Journaler. Personal journals again.
Journaler.
Is that a word? Journaler?
It is now.
Yeah. Tips for including your kids in weekly planning. Well, we do our own weekly planning session without the kids because that is more effective. But then we actually every week we try and have a family council type thing where we bring in the kids and we tell them like things that are happening and we ask them like, is there anything you guys want to be talking about? Anything we should discuss as a family? Do you feel something needs to be talked about, or when we're talking about like you feel something is unfair that we will address? We'd love to hear your opinions on this. Yeah,
just to give them kind of maybe a slightly more formal platform for addressing things and just signaling to them that yes, we want to hear what's going on with you if you have any things that you're struggling with. And oftentimes, like when they bring up stuff like that, it helps us to kind of modify our weekly planning so that we pay special attention to, if Marcus isn't getting along with someone at school and kind of talking about that with him and working through it.
And then we know what to bring up during like your dates or just when we pick them up from school, just to ask about those things that are important to them.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's weekly, if that's planning as much as it's just kind of like checking in with your kids.
No, but I think it's a good, because when you plan, you want to have all the input that you need to make your plans useful. And I think going back to this planning together, it does help with the idea of like, you want to catch stuff. So when you have a busy, life as an adult, you've got responsibilities and
a parent,
and you just feel like your brain is like oatmeal at times, then, you really don't want to just catch things up here and then trust on your mind to recall things that you need when you need them. The idea of catching stuff is like, oh, you hear about a meeting at school, you hear about a deadline for signing Marcus up for like an after school program, and then you grab it and you put it in the calendar. And when you then plan together, then, you know, if it's something that relates to both of us, then you bring it up, and maybe it makes sense for me to follow up on that, or you know, sign him up or what have you.
Exactly.
So
that's good.
Yeah, planning together.
It's a good thing. Martha got here, says hi guys, and Ashley liked our idea. That's good.
Perfect.
Let's go back to the together.
Yeah.
So the T was for together, and yeah, we do it together. We follow up on each other. We know what each other's plans are. But I think especially for our yearly planning, when we do we mentioned in the beginning how when we do our yearly planning, we have different categories we focus on, like financial and educational and spiritual and family and what was the last one? There's the last one.
Yeah.
Anyways, so different categories we focus on. And here, even though Binna has some personal goals for his career, or I have some personal goals for my health, then still, like, us knowing about each other's, it's our life. It's not his life and my life. It's our life. We're a family with kids. So it's really important for me to know what he wants to focus on so that I can support him in that, and then he can support me if I really want to quit chocolate because it gives me a headache or something. That's never gonna happen, guys. Never gonna happen. But if that was what I wanted to do, then you would know and not to buy chocolate in the house, but eat in the car or something, you know?
Absolutely. And the same with finances, I think. I mean, so we've got joint economy. Even if we didn't, I think it makes sense to do this sort of like at least yearly planning for your finances together. Because it is a source, if we're just being very frank.
If we're being dry and going to the like all the statistics and things,
so
then
that's me back to me now.
Back to you. That is like the number one reason for divorce, not divorce, is arguing about finances. So if you both are aware of what your finances are, why you're saving money this month because you're planning for using it for something else, or what this money is going to, then you're not going to fight over it because you're aware of it, both of you. Yeah,
absolutely. And
so that's probably the most solid advice we can give to anyone. Is like, do the finances together.
Yeah, that's a good one. And it is, I mean, not to toot our own horn, but it has worked really well. So kind of to do that a little bit, but and we don't argue about finances. We find plenty of other things to argue about, but not about finances.
Yeah. How do you guys do your finances? Do you like do them together, or does one person in your family do them? And if so, like, what are your pros and cons about that? Because those are our pros, our advice, but we're talking from our point of view.
Experience. Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. We'd love to hear yours. If you have any other thoughts, we've been talking about smart planning for families. Doing it together, doing it regularly. Those are things that help us to kind of keep tabs on family life, busy family life with kids. If you have any other tips that we haven't mentioned, favorite planning advice that you want to share with the rest of us, absolutely drop us a comment. And if you've just joined us, then please go back. We'll, after we wrap this up, we'll upload the video so you can check on the stuff that we talked about to begin with.
Not just get the T, but get all the other letters too.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's it.
Unless
we have, you have any last minute comments?
We talked about wanting to show our calendar, but we never did.
No.
Do you want to show it just now? Just because, I know it would have made a lot more sense to do it like during. But,
I will, if you bear with me.
But I think you should show it because.
If they can even see it.
I think they can see it. Put it up there.
Okay.
So like this is what you can totally see it.
Yeah.
This is what our week looks like. So we have loads of different colors in there. Like one for like the kids, one for me, one for you, one for us together, one for when we do YouTube content and stuff. So like we have all these different colors, and it really works well to have it divided up like that so that we have a really nice overview, back to being like manageable, and also just having us not drop balls. So
yeah, exactly.
We should have said this earlier, but I just want to share with you because it's something I really works well for us.
Yeah. And it is, I mean, a lot of people, they kind of look at it and it feels overwhelming. That's what they say to you at work, right?
I'm famous. So if any of our coworkers are here right now, I know you were here last month, but you didn't say hi. Say hi now and say, hey, hi from work. See you tomorrow. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Helene, if you're here. But yeah, seriously, like so many of our coworkers are like, when they see my calendar, they're like, oh my goodness, like how can you even keep track of that? But it's just looking at one color at a time. You know, like I know what colors. Like I'm not
And
gonna
you can
look at
flick
his
things
blue
on and
color
off,
because that's
yeah,
his
as
work
you-
schedule.
as
I
is
don't care
needed.
about that. So I can flick that off if I want to, but it's also nice for me to know like what times he's at work and when he's not. So I can easily just sift that away, and then I don't notice that.
And on that note, I think it's important that you don't look at somebody else's way of planning in fine detail and try to replicate that. Do what works for you. And I think that's also a solid advice to wrap up on. We've got a couple more comments before we
Janet,
peace
here,
out.
No, up here, Shira first.
Shira, I'm really glad. I'm really bad at involving myself in the financial planning. I find it depressing. It'll probably start by being depressing, but you've got to hang in there. And to be honest, odds are it'll get less depressing if with time if you're both doing
like during school, like when we were in school and like having 2 kids in the States, like in Texas, we doubled down on the financial planning together. Like we did a budget in the beginning of the month, then halfway through the month we looked like where are we at now, and the end of the month we followed up on it again, and then we did a new budget. So like really 3 times a month we looked at that budget, and then the next budget 3 times that month.
Yeah.
And we're not doing it, we just do it once a month now. And then we follow up sometimes at the end of the month.
Yeah.
But it really helped back then to be that focused on it, because it also kind of turned into a game sometimes. Like, oh, can we make it like, okay, so we have this amount of money left for food this month.
You're
like, let's get it.
You're
let's
really
get it done.
like you're giving people an insight here into our lives, and like
we like gamifying things.
The level of dorkiness that exists here on a day-to-day basis. Okay. So you are welcome.
We've told you we're cool and fun, so we're hoping you'll remember that.
Yeah, and balance that with the dorkiness.
Yeah, but involving yourself more, like make it your own, make it like something fun you could do together. Have a snack when you do it. It'll make it less sad and depressing.
Janet, we just started doing our finances together. My husband did it alone prior. It has taken away so much stress. Nice one. Yes, for Marta, I'll watch the rest later. Interesting stuff. And Olive, I do our finances by myself or joint accounts, but keep an emergency box with important info for my husband.
Well, that's good.
That is,
if
exactly.
Happens,
you do you.
That's good. Yeah, and the thing is, like, do whatever works for you. This is what works for us. So yeah, I know if Binda did the finances alone, I would be like, why can't I spend more money on like this or that, But doing it together, I understand why.
I think it's funny how over our 10 years of marriage, you've transitioned from that idea to me being like, no, buy that dress. And you're
I have a hard time spending money on myself. So yeah, it's more like, you should spend more money on this, Christine. I'm assigning you this amount for buying Anyways, that's off topic. Let's go move on here. What's next?
Ashley, I will have to sit down and watch this. Very good tips, and I'm terrible with planning. So this is very helpful. Thanks for sharing.
Ashley,
you're welcome.
You're
Thanks
awesome.
for your comments. Silly Mommy for Life. Hello, family. Hello, everyone in the chat. Hello, Silly Mommy for Life.
Helena wrote something. Hi from work. I knew you were there. See. Yeah, it's Silly Mommy again.
That's a very good system. I know I need to get more organized so badly. Well, we're glad you're here. I mean, this is what we're all about. Trying to keep things real, family life. We're just giving you insights into our day-to-day life, how we do things, how we organize, how we declutter, and why we do it, how it kind of fits into like making life a little bit more manageable for us on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
And keep things happy, keep things light. So
exactly.
If you haven't, then please subscribe. If you like what we've talked about so far, please give us a like. The reason we ask you to give us likes and comment is because it also helps us to gauge, what kind of content should we
be making? Should there be more planning stuff, or is this like not what you came to see?
Yeah.
Should there be more like family activity stuff, or like cook with me's or whatever?
Yeah.
Or just more of our awesome everyday like family life routines and awesomeness stuff.
And I mean, we ask you to give us a like. Obviously, if you don't like this, then give us a dislike. We'd appreciate if when you do, then leave us a little comment and just let us know why and what you'd like to see instead.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
I like Silly Mom's comment about how her husband just texted her and pranked her in FaceTime that he bought a Harley Davidson. Maybe it's not a prank, You never know. And
no, I said it cost $20,000. But he was joking.
Hopefully. Hopefully.
That's good.
Anyways,
we appreciate stuff like that as well. We play pranks on each other. Nothing, not on that.
I've never
level,
bought
but-
a Harley Davidson, I'm not telling you. But
No.
that's about it.
No, it's more like, hiding behind corners and scaring each other. Stuff.
Anyways,
Yeah.
thanks for being here today, and we will see you next week when we have a really good video about what's the topic next week?
What is the topic next week? We've
keep forgetting.
planned it. We just,
You've already edited.
Yeah.
Which one is it? Anyways, it's gonna be really good. If you go to our channel and in our community, there's like a list of what we're doing for the next few weeks.
And actually on that note, you can come up with suggestions in there in our community on our YouTube page for the types of videos that you would like to see. I think we are doing is it why do I hate tidying up and what I can do about it, or feeling productive with little effort?
One of those.
We've switched them around a couple of times, so we're not entirely sure which one we're doing next week. Either way, it'll be good.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for your comments, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.